This is Celebrate at 19 Hawthorne, the podcast, where we explore the creative process of planning your wedding. Okay, guys, welcome back to Celebrate at 19 Hawthorne, the podcast. I'm your host, Chad.
I'm your other host, April.
And today we have Ethan, who's normally on that side of the camera, but this time we brought him on this side of the camera to tell us a little bit about wedding videography and all the other awesome things that you do besides make this podcast happen for us every month, which is great.
Things. Yeah.
So, Ethan, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this, why you started, your background.
Sure.
How I recruited you.
Yeah.
How I was there when you came home from the hospital.
Oh, the whole nine.
Well, thanks for having me. One, I just want to say this is super fun. I love the idea. I think it's super innovative, and I love that you guys are doing this. It's a lot of fun, too, for me being a wedding vendor to see all these people that I work with on the regular, to see them come in and hear their stories. So I think that's super, super fun. And then the listeners, if you're getting married and you want to, think about, you're trying to navigate, when do I book certain vendors and things like that. I think that's so cool, and you can learn a lot from this podcast. But my story and how Chad and I know each other. My first memories of Chad are coming home from school at Allen East when I was still at Allen East, and my mom was teaching him piano lessons. Mm-hmm. There was always these days of the week that my mom we would all have to pitch in and get the house a little bit cleaner than normal. Light all the candles in the space. Yeah, because we had the piano students coming over. And Chad Hughes was one of them for sure.
Aww.
And I remember him. He was
my little piano bag book.
Yep. And she had half-hour segments or something. People would just be coming in and out of our house all the time. But I remember Chad being pretty good. I remember a couple of recitals. He was always the big kid. I was always the little kid. So looking up to your talent there. But anyway, that's where
you literally
that's
live
true.
Around the corner.
Originated in Old Harrod, Ohio.
Even smaller, West Newton.
Newton.
We were West Newton kids.
We're on that side of town of Harrod.
Barely
The
anybody
suburbs.
has heard of Harrod. Nobody's heard of Westminster.
Right. Yeah. Usually when I tell people, I'm in the Lima area. That's where I grew up. Mm-hmm. And then through college and all that, I studied business in college, and then met my wife in college, and we settled up in the Columbus area. So we currently live in Delaware, but we are starting to look for houses now. So we'll see where that takes us. But
are you looking here?
I
Are
was
you
gonna
looking
say, what's
in
the
Harrod?
plan?
I need to know. Are you going to join our little creative ecosystem in Harrod?
I like to be a part of it. My wife really loves Columbus, so I think it's a hard sell. She's from the Cleveland area, so Columbus is neutral ground for us.
You could go Bell Fountain and halfway in
That's true. I do a lot of work in Bell Fountain.
I know you're there a lot.
I basically live there without living there. Anyway, to how I got into all this, I guess, my mom being a music teacher, I definitely credit a lot of my creativity and that kind of things.
Your mom is a super creative.
Yeah, she paints, which is super cool. She's gotten back into a little bit. So yeah, she was definitely that influence in my life. And then my dad really encouraged it as well. I think a lot of people don't see that. He's kind of more the quieter guy, but he's always supported her and then encouraged us in those things. So did band and choir and theater in high school, all the things. And then I ended up graduating from Temple Christian, so it was a much smaller school than even Allen East, and every kid had to do all the things. So you played all the sports and did all the theater and stuff. But I do think it creates more well-rounded people, and you have a lot of interesting life experience, going out of high school.
And notice that you're not a soccer superstar. You're a videographer.
Yes. Yep.
See which side pays off, kids? Just saying.
I love that.
Unless you're David Beckham.
Right. There are a few exceptions, but I still play soccer at rec leagues occasionally. But anyway, so a lot of fun. I think video has always been a passion of mine. And Brody and I talk, my business partner who's behind the camera
He's
right
on the
now.
other side.
Being the boss man right now.
Yeah, of our production company. So I have a wedding side and then a production company that serves other clients, corporate things, and podcasts, stuff like that. So anyway, we kind of credit going back to PowerPoint and things that were video without knowing all the video or having all the resources to video. I had a little DSI that I would take pictures of my castle guys.
Do you guys remember, creatives that are my age kind of, do you guys remember Crayola Rocks, which was you put the little thing in your computer and you could go in and like make drawings. Did you guys have
yes,
this?
Yes.
It was huge.
Yes.
And like everyone forgot about it. And like anytime you like would grab a brush, which now it's how we use it, it would be like Crayola rocks. And my mom was like, I hate that. Please stop doing that. And I did it all the time.
I mean, PC games back in the day on the family computer hit different.
On my Hewlett-Packard.
I never got to touch it because it was my brother's. Like that was his space. Like there was no touching the box.
Yeah. And like Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah, man. I had like Deer Hunter 2004 at some point that, man, I spent some hours on that.
Like in school, I remember like in school, we played like Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Never would be allowed now, but like they were teaching us how to use the computer through like
crazy.
creative, fun ways.
There you go.
Okay. Offshoot. We won't do that too much.
Too much. No promises. Come on, Chad.
So
Go ahead.
you brought up like obviously having the wedding part and then having everything else during the week. So like, how do you break that down? Like that's a big plate to have, and you're going all over the place, and you're at Bellefontaine a lot, and now you're here on the weekends, and like, I mean, obviously you travel. So how are you putting that all on the same plate?
Great question.
Ethan's calendar is intense.
Yeah.
It is intense. The short answer is I'm still figuring it out, though, for sure.
Yeah, because you're a baby too.
Yeah, I'm 25, I think, at this point. I don't know. But
We're not old, we just feel old.
I got another wrinkle just over
you
there.
guys are not that bold. No, but it kind of started with weddings. I feel like in this area, especially, if you want to get into video, weddings are probably one of the most common ways to get into the space.
Yeah.
So as I got my first camera in college and was actually, I would help other wedding companies occasionally, second shoot for them. Did a couple really, really bad videos for some of my high school friends, but that's how you got started. And then I think it was 21. I actually started my first LLC. I studied business. I was passionate about wanting to have my own business someday. So that's kind of the weird thing about me is like, I enjoy the creative, but I'm also like equally satisfied by like the business side too.
Yeah, you
so
have both sides of the brain.
I
And
love-
it's real creepy when they start working.
I love the branding and all that. It's really my passion.
And
So
like creepy organized.
That's crazy.
Where me and
Creepy
you
organized.
are not at
Not
all. Like Ethan's like, I made a spreadsheet for you and it's a website and it's all organized. And I'm like, thanks.
real conversation we had the other day.
Like literally.
Typing up invoices, like even we talk about it all the time, but like physically typing up invoices, that's how I get paid. I hate it.
Bane of
I hate
April's
it. Like
existence.
I'm like, like
Necessary evil.
Oh, too bad I have to make up this $1,200 invoice, but I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not the computer person. I'm not.
We
So
just
like,
want to do all the pretty things.
yeah, so
Yeah.
like that's crazy to me that you have both sides. Like I can fake it until I make it, and we can make ourselves seem.
Let's make this podcast all about Ethan's brain. Ethan's brain.
How do we switch
Break down
from
the
super
psyche.
productive to creative? And
It's impressive. And I
I'm
think
very
it
impressed
comes
with that.
a little bit with the video stuff. Like
Yeah.
you have to be a little bit techie and
Yes.
equipment-y, but you also get to do the fun creative stuff. Like all the videographers that I know are like that. And
Right.
your brains are always like,
Yeah, you definitely have a bent towards tech, and so that's where the organization. It's kind of fun and it kind of gamifies it for me. So it's kind of weird. But the other thing is, so DeLeon Creative is my wedding brand, and then Mark Rodney Productions is our other brand that we serve corporate clients and do the podcast and things like that through. My secret is I have a business partner on the production company, and he's a very creative guy. He's an art teacher, and so he gets to be a lot of times a creative for us, so that I can be the technical side. So that's that's our yin yang a little bit. We both can do both, but I feel like that's our natural tendencies. So that helps out a lot on that side. And then the wedding business, I just feel like over time I've been getting more. Just dialing it in a little bit more, every year it's like, what did you learn from the past year? And obviously it's still not perfect, but I'm, doing my best at it and having a lot of fun with it.
yeah, just doing it is part of
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
process
the learning
of learning
curve.
about
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of just getting your reps in, like
Yeah.
in anything, especially creative. And it's okay. Like I feel like a lot of creatives have their hands in a lot of things, and I was like, splitting two businesses is too many, or what are people going to think? And it doesn't matter. I'm out here putting my reps in regularly. for weddings and for this kind of stuff. And I'm having a lot of fun doing it, making memories doing it. So that's what I would encourage other people if you're looking to get into the space to definitely do.
Well, yeah, because it all combines, right? Everything that you learn from the podcast and commercials and weddings, like that all just like,
right.
Like it all bunches together and eaves and weaves.
Yep. And I think at least I see it now being the like older wedding venue person. Some days I feel like I should like walk around with a kid. But like most wedding people, this isn't their only gig.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are doing I wake up that morning and I figure out what hat I wear.
Yep.
And like they're doing this and they're doing that and they have a side business. And like
Yep.
anyone who knows me has known that like I've obviously been in the wedding world now for 20 some years, but like I also do things with the fair and the hospital and like it's like which hat do I put on today? And that's just how we live.
It's pretty normal for creatives.
At weddings, that's how you have to be.
Yeah.
Like the ceremony time is very much this. The party time is very much this. Handling people is another
There's
thing.
no 40-hour work week for us.
And you're not going to have a 40-hour work week in just weddings typically because they're usually weekends, and then there's seasons, right? There's wedding seasons that are typically May to November or something like that. It varies for people, but you guys probably feel it more than other people, but for photographers, videographers, that tends to be like what we reference as our busy season.
Right, because I think that's something that's important to talk about wedding season is that there is an on season and there is an off season.
Yep.
During your on season, that's more of crazy go, go, go. And then like our off season is more where we get to dabble in it a little bit more.
And some vendors will even have different pricing structures depending on the time of year.
Because it is more like if you get married in the winter, it is a little bit more of like a budget friendly option, because venues try to fill up their winter spots and they will give discounts and all of that stuff. So I think that's a crazy thing to think about is like there are businesses that get to do like their wedding seasons just all year round. And then there are creatives that their wedding season is 8 months out of the year or 6 months out of the year, which is crazy because I think it's just cool that you have to fill your plate with so much, like that's a big deal.
That we see when we go to Vegas with different people, depending on where they're located in the world and in the country, is like Texas's wedding season is totally the opposite of our wedding season because it's too hot during the summer.
They don't want to get married in the summer.
They're getting married in January. Like their busy season is January. And I was like, that's so, like you don't think about it.
Their slow time is July because nobody wants to sweat all that makeup and hair that they just did.
And then worldwide, like Australia, like it's a whole different season. It's middle of summer down there in, our December. And it's like,
yeah.
Everywhere
weddings
isn't just Ohio.
So how do you, with working these multiple businesses and everything, how do you stay inspired with, because I know in our businesses as well, like, I have corporate clients as well, and then wedding clients, and we treat them the same but different. And like, how do you stay inspired to make sure that those worlds, you are occupying both of those worlds properly?
Yeah. Great question. I think for me, I think this would apply to a lot of creatives, is I have to be changing it up to keep it fresh for myself. So honestly, I enjoy, a slow season away from weddings for a little bit, especially for video. It can be kind of a grind because the wedding is just the beginning of our work. Right. And then there's, a long process of editing after that, and it can be tedious. So
I don't miss that. I don't miss editing.
It can be a grind sometimes. But yeah, so having time away from it, that's why I kind of like having a variety of different types of projects that I work on. Yeah. One, I believe they build and inform kind of what you were saying before, like on each other, even though they're different. But that's how I stay inspired. Like I can come back fresh and new for a wedding in May if I just had, 3 months off or something like that.
And
I'm
be
like,
excited
I'm
about
ready to go. Like let's, and I've, reviewed all my footage. Maybe I need a new reel showing off all the work that I've done. Super excited about it. It's very satisfying for me too, to see all like my best shots put together. And I'm like, man, like, okay, we're doing something. Like this stuff looks good.
Everybody likes a highlight reel, right?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes when you're in the weeds, it gets a little much. Sometimes a little discouraging. So I like changing it up, keeping it fresh. I like seeing what other people are doing, but as long as you're not playing the comparison game too much, like try to stay healthy with that. But I'm also a big YouTube guy. I consume a lot of YouTube. I love seeing what people are doing and new trends and things like that. So.
We love some YouTube. We talk about, I went to YouTube school. Like that's what,
Yeah.
like when we're talking to the kids at the school
Yeah.
and stuff, like I didn't go to pastry school. Like I went to the school of YouTube. Like that's how, and
Right.
we still go there. Like that's how we learn everything. And I think that's something that as creatives, we need to highlight a lot more to be like, yeah, most of us never went to school for what the profession we actually ended up in.
I think the best education you can do is reps plus YouTube.
Yeah, right?
know?
Yeah.
Well, and I think we talked about it a little bit in a prior episode, like just you never stop learning.
Correct.
Right.
Like if you're someone who wants to get into this industry, like you're always going to be learning something different. You can either always add something or the industry totally shifts in a different direction and you have to learn about that. Like
Right.
never in my life did I think that I would be hosting a podcast.
Right.
I hate myself and my voice on television and here
Well,
we
you're
are.
killing it. Everyone give Chad some love in the comments.
Yes.
Like, but you know, like you just have to
Yeah.
kind of evolve
All
as
the time.
things evolve, and that's okay. And I think getting back to video, because we will go down 50 million tangents on this episode, like video has changed so much. Like having a wedding video is not just grandpa with his big
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
on his shoulder taping the ceremony anymore. It is a piece of the day. So tell us a little bit about why you think video is so important to include in your wedding day.
Yeah.
But also like all the cool stuff that can be done with it now. Because it's not
Right.
just like, oop, I play my DVD every year on my anniversary.
Yeah.
Like that's not what it is. Do we even have DVDs anymore?
Right.
Like how is
Yeah.
this going to change and how has it changed?
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. That's something I actually talk about on my discovery calls with my clients. Is a wedding video, a traditional wedding video, looks very different from person to person.
Yeah.
Now that it's been in the wedding industry for a while, it's no longer your family member in the back with a camcorder. Typically, at least that's not what I do. It's a lot more creative. Than
There's
that.
a whole production setup back
Right.
here, brother.
Yeah, there
And
is.
in like, I think it's so cool for one of our couples here. You did an engagement video.
Yes.
Like I had never seen that.
Yep.
Super
that's
cool.
It was like a
Cool.
save the date. They instead of sending out physical save the dates, they
Yeah.
did a save the date video.
So
and actually,
So cool.
for the bridal show, that was the offering that I had. Like if you book within the next month after this bridal show, then I was going to include a free save the date video.
So much fun. And they can
Super
put it on their
cute.
wedding website.
Right.
And,
Yeah. And there's so many fun things you can do. There's an opportunity to tell more of your love story if you want to do that. But it's also just like the creative, beautiful shots. So think about photography, but moving. But the thing that's really special for me is capturing those moments with family members or loved ones in ways that you just can't in any other medium. So grandpa's voice on a microphone for a first look or something like that.
Right.
Those are the moments I find myself. I'm editing. I've been editing for a long time, but then I'm like, why is my cheeks hurt? Like my face hurts. It's because I've been smiling, editing.
Right.
It's just like that's just the good stuff in the world right now. That like I don't know. That's what keeps me going, and I think passionate about that, and being able to provide that for family members, and then or for my clients and their families. The payoff is just absolutely insane.
And pictures are so important. But like when you get to hear like grandma's voice
Yeah.
in 25 years, especially if grandma doesn't last much longer after the wedding.
Right. Or see that embrace, like that actual, like
The emotions
the proud,
that brings back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like totally worth every penny.
And in the vows for the first time, there's so much good stuff. And audio is such a big part of video. So like tying those two in and using audio correctly is a big thing I'm passionate about for sure.
That's so cool. Because I will say, so when I got married 12 years ago, I think we've been 11 years ago, we'll fix that. But my nephew had his, oh gosh, not his laptop, but he had something and he literally recorded our vows. We didn't have a videographer. That wasn't a thing back then. And like that 4-minute clip, like we have it up on YouTube. We go and watch it and like, it's horrible. It's blurry. It's half like.
But you have it.
But I have it, and like, I know how important that is.
Yeah,
like,
you have that
that's-
snapshot in time,
Yeah,
right?
like that's such. My brother officiated my wedding. He came home from Afghanistan. Like,
Wow.
to do that, he got he got all his certification online to be able to do it. And like, I would pay $1 million over to have that. Like, like that's such a special thing.
Right.
But you can have it in such a beautiful way of like all of the day, and like,
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
I'm going to get up on my soapbox.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
And like, I don't think people, you're checking boxes
Yeah.
when you're planning a wedding. And I don't
Yes.
think people realize how important photography and videography are to the whole equation.
Yeah.
Because after that day is over, that you spend a ton of money and a ton of time on, it's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
And all that
Hopefully
remains,
we're never doing it again.
Right.
Like,
All that
Right.
remains are those photos and the video. And for you to look back, if you're the type of person who looks back, like that's all you have.
Right.
Like you're never potentially maybe going to ever fit in your dress again. You're
Right.
all not going to be dressed
Right.
up. Like you're all not going to have those people in the room because potentially some of them are going to disappear as
Right.
time marches
But that's
on.
what you don't think about when you're the average wedding age.
And your
you know,
kids
you're
wanna
not
watch
thinking about
someday,
that.
like-
you know,
Right.
Like I know, like as a young person, I was always like, Mom, like what was your wedding like? What was your
Yeah.
dad's
Yeah.
wedding like? And like I don't have a video to watch because in the 80s that didn't happen.
Right.
But like I can go back and look at her pictures and I love that. And I think like these younger kids,
Mm-hmm.
it'll feel like they're there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they'll be able to watch your
In
videos.
4K quality, baby.
Yeah.
Like
They'll
it's
get to
No,
incredible.
seriously.
they'll get to meet their relatives that they potentially never got to meet.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's such a cool, because like I remember growing up and not knowing my great grandparents, but like there's a whole set of people now that like get to meet those people because they are on that wedding video. I think that's so cool. Like,
Yeah. Something we did for our wedding that I would offer to the audience of this show would be pick, as the bride and groom or you know, getting married, I would say pick your top 3 thing each for the day that's going to be most important to you. You know, for us, it was photography, it was our honeymoon, and then I forget whatever else it was. But we were fairly aligned on those things. You know, discuss those top 3 things, and like that's where you should just be okay spending your budget. I mean, I know it's hard to probably take it from me as the videographer, and video is like typically in people's heads like an expensive thing. But like if that is something you're going to value for years in the future, like make sure your budget's going where it's, you know, going to be most important to you personally. And that's going to look different from couple to couple. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know, that was something I was very grateful for looking back on our day.
for sure.
The historian in me is like, yes, all these things. Check all the boxes because it's so important. And even like just generationally, like there are very few photos that are printed anymore, but remain 100 years later, like or video. You know, someone's wedding photos, their video, it's gonna last. They're gonna keep it safe. They're gonna keep it around.
Right.
It's the video that, as you know, we go from DVD to VHS to all the things, like they're gonna make sure it gets updated so they have that. So it's potentially the only video in your life, maybe other than the birth of your children,
Right.
that they're going to keep for 100 years and pass on to the next generation, which is so cool to think about.
Yep.
And kind of creepy.
So now that we've gone down that rabbit hole, so how long have you been doing this?
So I think, like I said, I started my own business in 21. I had second shot, done a few weddings here and there, but I was like, you know what? I think we can do this in 21. So I'm going on 4 years at this point.
Almost 5. So you get your like 5-year pen
Yeah.
too.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Hey, you're making it to 5, but what? It's 5 that's the average.
Average for wedding industry people.
Really?
If you survive 5 years, they say you'll be in it for a very long time.
Interesting.
And then there's old people like me that they don't even have a number at the wedding show because you've been here too long.
Yeah.
So in those 4 years, what are some of the things and advice that you would give your brides and your couples about hiring a videographer and utilizing you in that day to the most potential?
Yeah. Kind of goes back to what I was saying a little bit. Like, think what's going to be the most valuable to you and what you think together as a couple you would appreciate the most in hindsight. So photos are great. I think photographers often don't get enough credit for all the work that they do because a lot of times they become your wedding planner. They're fixing your dress, your hair all day, your makeup.
They're your best friend.
Getting people around like, you go there, you go there, stop.
And the way I see my job is kind of to be an assistant to the photographer on the day as well, to give them that second or that additional support. Because without a videographer for a photographer can either make or break the day, and I'm there to make the day easier for them so that we can both get the most like out of the day and the footage and the opportunities that we have with light and all that stuff.
And I think it's important as we are right here now to say like, it's okay to ask your photographer that question. Like, do you enjoy working with a videographer? Who do you recommend?
Yeah,
who
ask
do you
them who they
enjoy
like to work
working
with.
Because they have favorites. And they will know like, oh, yes, Ethan. Like we shot with him a couple weeks ago. Like we love shooting with Ethan. Like they know. And they like to flow with people because like you're literally this little posse that follow you around all day.
And then for us on the wedding day, we see each other like, oh, hey, what's up? You know, we know we're about to have a good day. We're already
There's
comfortable.
That
dap each other up and get started on the day. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry, now
I'm kidding for some people. Advice though, I would just say, also think through what you want to reflect on the day. If you want the full ceremony, if you want the whole thing recorded, then ask for it. If you want just a recap, if you want that special moment, individual, because we have all the footage, right? But we can't. There's probably at some level a formula that we follow as far as like creating a highlight video that fits in 10 minutes or whatever for your wedding day, right? That's what a lot of the videos we are doing now, and that's what my base package kind of is. Gotcha. However, if there's something specific like the save the date video, I love that. And honestly, it got me so excited to do something new and fresh for my couple. But like think through those things and don't be afraid to ask your videographer like for a special request. If you see a trend on TikTok or something, like those are so cool. And I can tell that the couple is excited for the video. And then you better believe like that's in my notes on that day, that I'm going to try to capture that in the best of my ability, to capture your vision. So
something that I'm seeing out west that I'm loving right now are like little small like documentaries about their love stories.
I'm thinking about trying
this.
It's
so cool.
If you want to try this, let me know. We'll make it happen
like where
for
they,
you.
There might be a discount, wink, wink.
If they've dated a long time, like they bring in some like old pictures and put those in, or like now cute. Because so much is recorded, like people even have like old videos of like them interacting as a young couple or friends, or they went to prom together or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's so much fun. Like that's like your life story right there.
I feel like it's a little cliche in today's world, but like storytelling is huge and so powerful and like one of the oldest art forms, right? Video is like one of the best ways to storytell. So it's no surprise to me that those like documentary style, even just documenting the day in a documentary style, that's a whole like sub genre of wedding films. I tend to lean more towards like the cinematic, like slow moving, things like that, like pretty shots. But that's like there's a whole other like genre that does that. But I am seeing that too. It's like gives you an opportunity to tell the story of the couple,
I love it.
and then it's like all coming together in the wedding.
Well, and
day.
it makes their like everybody has a wedding website pretty much for the most part now. Like it makes going to their wedding website fun,
right?
Like I'm not just like reading. Here are the people in our wedding. Here's the hotels. Like it's like
the dress list.
Oh, like I'm excited to like because most of the time one person in the couple, but not necessarily the other. And it's like an introduction to that person and a little bit of their story together, which is fun.
And then to hit back at it, eventually those people might be grandparents or great-grandparents.
Yeah, and then
like,
you get to have that.
Here's the love story.
Yeah,
I'm
that's so
such
cool.
a sucker for a love story. Like I'm such a sucker because I feel
hopeless
like that
romantics
yeah,
at
that
this
all
table
gets
right here.
that all gets forgotten. Like all those small little details. Like we met at the football game or we met here, and then like our first date, like all that stuff. Like it disappears as the timeline goes on, and like the story goes through generation after generation.
You're like
and,
documenting your family history.
Yeah. Really cool. So that would
someday
be something
that'll end up on like ancestry.com. Like it's going to start happening.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what? That's legit.
I think about what happens when our grandkids see our like social media, like assuming like Facebook, Instagram, or whatever's around still at that point, but like they're gonna get to see like what
so
Grandpa
much
did
more
in his high school days.
Yeah, so much more than what you got to see.
Yeah.
So let's talk about weddings over. Deliverables from a photographer. Like, what should people expect? How do you get that? Like, where does it live? Can I give copies to people? Like, I've never,
it's a great question.
Never had a wedding, so I don't know. But like, what do you deliver to the client, and what does it look like?
Yeah, and I apologize on behalf of all videographers everywhere that like we just assume people know this stuff because we have to know it. And there's like so much with video. You have audio, lighting, lenses, all this stuff, blah blah. So the way I like to do it, and most people do it, is to deliver on an online gallery. Same for a lot of photographers these days. For photography, I highly encourage you to print your photography after you get it, at least some of it. But yeah, it'll be delivered in an online gallery that you can view and download. The app that I use has like even a TV app, I think. So if you want to throw it up for your anniversary or something like that, you can watch it on TV, which is kind of cool. But please download it and keep it in your own files. So it's all pretty digital. I know some people do USB sticks, but like even USB, definitely DVDs, those are all kind of like getting a little dated at this point.
And I was going to say, so like as a person potentially watching this who's already got married, who maybe has a wedding video, like what do you recommend other than like keeping it in the cloud, which is probably the safest space for it? Like how do you recommend keeping those things safe?
Backing that up.
Yeah, great question. So data management is a huge thing for videographers, right? Because we're typically running several cameras, trying not to miss any important moments, and we have a bunch of redundancy built in. So you ask a videographer this, they're going to have crazy answers for you. But I would recommend having it on the cloud and also having it on a physical drive of some kind, whether that's a USB stick or a hard drive or something physical. But you want to be able to still have that if your house burns down. It's a very real thing. It's a very unfortunate thing, but like people miss that stuff. And a lot of videographers end up, after so long of being in business, they can't keep every single file for every wedding. So like they have to get rid of, and usually that stuff is in your contract, but they have to get rid of footage at some point. I try to hang on to mine as long as I possibly can. I don't think I've deleted stuff as long as I've been doing it yet. But that's no guarantee, right? So you want to be able to have think about a couple different backups, maybe have a physical copy in a couple different places.
Like different houses.
Yeah, different houses.
Maybe
At your parents' house or something.
Yep,
your sibling
safe
or something like that.
Box.
Yeah,
Right.
just good practice. Ensuring.
If you've spent that much money on a videographer, put that bad boy in your safety deposit box.
Yeah.
And I would say, if you're comfortable with it, share it with your family too. Like they were all there. They get to see themselves in the video sometimes. Like that's super fun for everybody. Like, I don't know. I love it when couples are happy about it and they share it with their whole family. And I'm seeing it on Facebook and stuff. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, I love this. It made me cry. It's like, that's why we do it,
Yeah. Not to make people cry, but to have
in a good way, in a happy way.
So what's your ideal timeline that you work on, and what happens in the months leading up to the wedding?
Yeah. Everyone, I think, probably has a little bit different process, but mine is, I obviously, like everyone's probably going to say, is book as soon as you can. A lot of times you're booking your venue first, and then your photographer's a close second somewhere in there. And then we're somewhere after that. But I would recommend the sooner the better, obviously. Now, typically, most situations for me are real close to a year out that I know. So I'm filling up my calendar a year out. If it's a good year, then maybe I'm looking 2 years in advance even. So you really can't be too early if you want video. Now, that is, and a lot of times there's a process, you jump on a call. For me personally, I have my pricing listed on my website, so I'm not wasting your time. You're not wasting my time.
Nice.
I know not everyone does that for different reasons. I'm a big believer of I'm a pretty direct person. So just jump on. You can figure it out yourself. Look at my work, look at my prices, see if it's worth it to you.
And I think we're going to start seeing that more and more.
Yeah. Otherwise you're like, okay, I have to set up a call with 4 videographers to hear their spiel and all that stuff, which I'm not, crapping on anyone's process or anything like that. Like I get it, but for me personally, I found that works well. And then usually I like to do a discovery call still to learn just who I am, who's booking with me, and hear your story and what are you looking for in your wedding video. And then after that, you'll get a digital brochure that you can kind of make your selections, build your custom wedding package, and then there's usually a deposit that will get you booked for that date. And I'm not going to schedule anyone else on that date. It protects it from there on in. And then the remaining 75%, I do a 25% down personally, and then 75% is not due until like 2 weeks before the wedding. At which point I'm scheduling another call just to check back in. Let's see, how's wedding planning going? Do you have everything figured out? Did anything else come up that you didn't think of? What are those last minute adjustments? Hey, we're going to be doing this fun song. We really want footage of that. Cool. Let me take notes of all that stuff, and that'll be fresh on my notes and in my brain, so that I'm ready to go for the day. So that's kind of what my process looks like. And then, that's basically it, I think.
Celebrate everything at 19 Hawthorne Wedding and Event Venue. Centrally located in the heart of Northwest Ohio, 19 Hawthorne is the place to welcome family and friends as you celebrate life's most important moments. Our mission is to create sophisticated luxury in a timeless, natural setting. Our desire is to drive the creative spirit forward, creating an environment that guests will remember for years to come. When you and the people you love celebrate with us, together we establish unforgettable memories. Create the perfect day of joy and celebration. Learn more at 19hawthorne.com.
Does the amount of people at a wedding like affect your pricing at all? Like, is there an 80-person wedding versus a 400-person wedding? Does that matter to you, or does that, you're mainly focusing on like main family members?
It doesn't, for me personally, no, it doesn't matter too much. Obviously, if you want to hire a second videographer, that matters for me. But as whoever's there, I've done weddings with 25 to 50 people, and I've done weddings with probably 500 people. It's like, the process is similar to what we do.
So I'm going to let you geek out now and talk about, I'm going to let you geek out and talk about equipment. Because this is my favorite thing. So I love people that don't know about cameras at all, that come to a wedding and they think that the videographers are part of the photography team because video cameras don't look like video cameras anymore. They look like
like a photo
cameras.
Camera. Yeah.
And they're like, the photography team is huge. And I'm like, well, part of them are video guys. And they're like, really? I didn't know that. That's my favorite thing to hear. And I'm not picking on anybody. It's funny because
I wouldn't know.
So
I think.
So do you do drones? Because people have that question, obviously. And then tell us a little bit about equipment and lugging it in and all that good stuff. Geek out about equipment, Ethan. This is your moment.
All right, this is my moment. I love this stuff. And I every videographer has put a lot of work into it. So if you care, ask them about it and they'll tell you.
Their fortune is literally in that black bag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they probably spend a lot of time on YouTube and other places researching and figuring out what the best camera is or whatever for their specific needs. Let's start with drone footage. So for me personally, I include drone footage in my packages. I always say it's included. I'm not going to charge extra. It's not 100% guaranteed because you have things you can't control, like weather. Right. Venue would be another one. Some venues, they don't like drones. And then if you're close to an airport, there's certain areas that you're just legally not allowed to fly. So those are the three stipulations I put on it. Yeah. But as long as the fourth would be time. I have to step away for 15 minutes to be able to do this. Which usually that one's not an issue for me personally, but it is important. You can't do anything important for those 15 minutes, when I step outside to fly the drone.
Have you ever showed up at a venue and they were like, no, you're not allowed to do it?
No, but I have shown up at one that was it was a no-fly area. So I was like, oh, this is no drone footage. There's nothing I can do about it, Yeah. So that's just a little informational dump there, I guess. But what else did you have with the equipment?
So the whole... They think you're part of the photography team because the camera cameras don't look like cameras anymore.
You want to make you want to mess with a videographer, ask them to take a photo.
Yes, they're like, what? Talk to her.
I'm like, okay, say cheese. A lot of videographers will just let the guests have it, and if you can take a still, you'll take a still, but no one's getting that photo.
Right.
So anyway,
you're just appeasing grandma. You're making Aunt Susie happy.
Right.
You're doing it to just shoo her out.
Yeah, but to your point, a lot of video cameras are looking more and more like photo cameras. Because a lot of them are hybrid, photo and video is what that means. And it gives you the ability to do both. But there are obviously cameras that are better at video than photography, things like that. So. That's why they kind of look similar. And it's also kind of nice. I've had a photographer, her lens stopped working. I gave her one of my lenses to finish the day. Those kind of things is just kind of convenient for weddings, specifically when you're working side by side with your photographer. I really can't overstate, we really are a team on a wedding day. But yeah, there's a lot of gear that comes with video because we have to run mics. We have to run multiple sources of audio. For any wedding day, for a ceremony, I'm usually running 5 or 6 sources of audio at the same time that'll sync up with video later. So there's equipment and cables, and then 3 or 4 cameras sometimes. I try to keep the cameras minimal just because I don't want to be a headache to anybody. But yeah, there's usually a lot more gear with video than anything else.
My favorite recently, because I see it more and more just because people are bringing more equipment because people have more wants and needs, is how like the back room here at Hawthorne has transformed into like video and photography land during a wedding. So when you see them like going in and out of the storage room 50 times, it's because they're switching their lenses or getting new batteries and I mean, there'll be tables full of equipment because it takes that. I mean, you're literally filming a mini movie and you have to have everything right there, which is so important and people don't think about that.
Usually have my main stash back here, but then I have like spare batteries and filters and like stuff in my at the end of the wedding day, like emptying my fanny pack and my pockets is just like never ending. I spend like 10 minutes just emptying everything.
Yeah, like mints, you got needles, you got all the things.
Like, oh, that's where that filter went. I was looking for that.
But I think that's a big part that goes into the pricing of weddings that people really have to wrap their heads around. We don't get a redo.
Right.
If I drop your cake, I don't get a redo. You know, like if you forget something or something breaks or like I think that's a big part of why the tables are also so full is it's because there's a backup for that backup for that backup.
Yep.
Because,
especially in video. Like it's just, because we have to have backups for all the audio, for all the camera stuff. And, you know, if anything goes wrong, like as a professional, it's my responsibility to have that stuff ready to go because it is a wedding. There are no, you know, take two.
Right. Know? Hey, can you just do those vows again while everybody's hanging out here? Like there's not that possibility.
Yeah. So that's, and I mean, it's, hopefully you are aware of this, but video gear is not cheap. Like this costs us like a lot of money, you know,
thousands and thousands of
dollars. And it usually has taken several years. Like I'm still building my ideal wedding kit. I still don't have it after 4 years of business because stuff costs so much, you know? So,
and it's constantly changing.
Right. And like we have to, you know, we're making our living off of that too. So like we can't just take, a lot of people are like, oh, well, you can buy that whole camera with like the whole thing. Well, I'm not putting my whole check I received from you.
Payment too.
I have to pay my taxes. You know, I have to take a little bit for myself and then keep some in the business. And then hopefully over time that'll build and I can pay for a camera. So,
and I mean, and I don't think people realize, but like the cameras that wedding photographers, especially, and videographers are carrying around, like it's not your $1,000 camera. I mean, these are $5,000 to $6,000, and that doesn't even normally include the multiple lenses that you have tucked away.
And the photographers that have one on each hip. And then you guys with your multiple cameras, like
and tripods and lighting and filters, and I mean, it's so much stuff, and people. I mean, and we don't expect people to know, but it's just about respecting the craft and knowing that, like, if you hire a professional, you're getting a professional quality product.
Most vendors in the video space are not just charging just to get a higher price from their couples. It's usually because you're paying for quality in video. Sure, like, look, it's important that you study their previous work, that you like their style. That's what I would encourage people to hire your videographer. Like, oh, I really like what you did, and tell them that in the discovery call. Like, I really love the wedding that you did.
Your tones,
your and then like, okay, cool. I'm gonna lean into that for their wedding. You know, so make sure you like the style, and then usually that price tag comes with the experience, and that like they got you on the day. You know, like you're gonna have a good result, even if you're like most people are a little uncomfortable on camera. Like that's part of the job is to.
We're gonna make you not look uncomfortable.
Yeah, we're gonna relax. We're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna get along with your photographer. I'm not gonna cause drama. I'm not gonna be in the way. You know, like those are all things that like I work hard at. You know, as a videographer, and I think most people doing this professionally are doing the same.
So why do you love shooting here?
Yeah.
Besides, you get to come see my smiling face.
Yes. It is. I did not.
And you don't have to clean your room before you come.
Because now you clean it for me when I come. It's payback. No. No, I honestly didn't know you worked here at first. So when I saw you, I was like, what? Chad? I was like, this is awesome.
It was a surprise.
And it was working with a photographer that I enjoyed working with too. I was like, I just had a great time this first time. But really the difference is for me shooting here is you take couples all around the property. It's a beautiful space. You guys talked about that in your first episode. I thought was awesome. And it's true. There's a lot of beautiful nooks and crannies around here that are fun to take bride and grooms. And you know the spots for the season too. Like I'll do, 4 or 5 weddings here in a season. And like every time we go to somewhere different because it's looking good right now in this weather. So I love that. I love that you have a golf cart too. It's just those kind of things. As
we have so many fun golf cart stories.
That's true. Yeah. 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 But that's the difference maker for me personally. And it's beautiful. I'm a sucker for the big, huge windows, and that helps for even lighting, for the reception. And there's just, it's made to have a great wedding day here.
That's the goal. That's what we do.
Yep.
So questions for Ethan. Not the videographer Ethan, but Ethan as a creative.
Okay.
How and where are you finding? I know you said you spend lots of time on YouTube, but obviously there's like specific things that you're looking for, that you're drawn to. And I know that you and Brody obviously are making fun, creative films that you're getting inspired with. Like, where do you find your inspiration, in particular for weddings, but just in general creativity? Because I think what's fun about this podcast and what I'm hearing now from people is like they love to be in the mind of a creative and figure out where they get their inspiration, where they're getting their, ideal settings, ideal looks and tones and feels.
Yeah. A lot of art is kind of stealing.
It is.
It's legit.
It is.
But what I think when it's done the best is usually you're stealing it from one medium and implementing it into another. So we talked about my mom being a music teacher, and we both have some music background. Like I was never a great musician. Like I enjoyed it.
Tell us what instrument you play, because it's epic.
Oh man,
The big one.
The big one.
Don't you play the cello or something like that?
Okay, time to come clean on the cello. I got a cello for Christmas because I really wanted to learn. And
so he has a cello.
I have a cello. I've played it, not well.
So you gotta go take some lessons.
Cello is something that takes time, and
I'll be waiting for your interview with the symphony.
Okay.
In all of
I
his
would love
spare
to.
time, he's just
Right.
pulling that bad boy out.
It is sitting in my living room right now, because if you don't see it, then you won't play. Is my
and it's so pretty.
Yeah, but I do play guitar and bass guitar, and I tinker on piano. I play trumpet and band, all the things. So anyway, but pulling something like inspiration from music, right? Even if it's just listening, and then like letting that inspire you, what emotions are you feeling, and then funneling that into somewhere else. And a lot of times that, like you mentioned, our film side, my production business, we also have a film branch of that, Mark Rodney Entertainment, that we're kind of building and kind of getting our first feature film off the ground even. And that a lot of that stuff is pulled from real life experience. So again, it is kind of like those different spaces, but like when you're starting to feel burnout on one, like pull inspiration from another area and like just dive into that. Like for me, like organization and tech is like inspiring for me. So like then I'll take my video camera and like film that stuff and make it look sick. And then I get energized from that. And then that's how I'm going to get back into my wedding edit. It's so weird,
right?
But it is very fluid like that.
Now I'm going to bring up something that no one likes to talk about.
Ooh, okay.
Boom, boom, boom. There's the sound effect.
I don't even know what's coming. Like I don't even know.
So as a bride, as a groom, they come into the day, and their tone and their mood that day sets the tone for all of their vendors,
For everybody.
all of the venue, and everything. And especially as you are documenting that day.
Right.
And it's so interesting to me to see final products, because I get to see start to finish, to see final products when I receive the videos or the photos back. Like the difference in the quality and just what you guys capture if the bride is in a good mood. And if the groom is getting along and not fighting with people or fighting with their parents. So like when you come, Mr. Bride and groom who are coming in future couples, like approach the day as you want. I mean, obviously things go wrong. That's what happens in life. And you can't control everything. But like approach the day knowing that like you are going to be documented pretty much every second of the day.
And you hired us to do that.
Right. And when you start yelling or you have a bad day or you're in a fight with your mom because she wants you to do this or doesn't want you to wear the pearls, like all of it reflects very much throughout the entire day.
It really does.
And then like you kind of go in with like, especially as a vendor, like, oh,
Right. When we walk into the like venue, like we can feel.
Yeah.
So if your
What's
Starbucks makes you
going on?
happy, get it that morning.
Yeah. Right.
Like if you need to have a little swig of alcohol to let loose a little bit, like make sure that we have that in the mimosa. Like those things are important.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
The vibe is a huge part that no one wants to talk about.
And listen, things are going to go sideways.
It happens. You can't
You're
control
going to
the
get
weather.
disagreements, but like your attitude at the end of the day is a choice.
Yes.
And if you don't want your day ruined, this awesome day you spent a lot of money on, a lot of time on, a lot of preparation, like it's up to you to make the best of it.
And I'm going to tell a story. We're going to tell the golf cart story because it is fun.
Oh,
We had a bride. Ethan was shooting. I was driving.
I'm so surprised.
I know, me too. I wasn't going to do it.
We had a bride who she happened to fall off the golf cart.
She rolled. She tucked
pretty
and rolled.
much destroyed her dress.
Okay, but she didn't just fall off the golf cart, Chad. What
No,
happened?
Her dress fell off the golf cart, got stuck in the wheel. She got pulled off. It was a whole thing. It was bad. It was the
pretty
scariest.
traumatic.
He
one
called
of the
me
scariest moments
afterwards
of my
and was
life.
like, "You are not going to believe what happened."
Okay, so
I was like, I was in disbelief. I
it
was
happened.
shocked.
And here's what happened. And this is what I loved. Like, it's a teachable moment now that I look back. She jumped up after we found out she wasn't hurt.
Yeah.
She brushed it off. She knew her mom was going to be angry about the dress because the dress was stunning.
And it was sent to Cincinnati the
Like
day
the day
before
to
to get cleaned.
Like, it was just a whole thing. But you know what? That bride rolled with it, and she was like, she had fun. They made fun of the whole incident. Like,
Got some
it was a
photos with the
freak
grass stains
accident
and tire
that happened.
stains, by the way.
Tire stains on her dress, and they just rolled with it.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important. Like, you can stand up and you can be like, why did this happen? Like, it was out of
And then
everyone's
everybody can
control.
be scared of
and
you
then
for the rest
everyone
of
is
the day.
scared the rest of the day. Everything is crazy. Or you can just be like, you know what? That was a hoot. I'm going to just come out of this a happy person
Yeah.
and just let it blow off
What
and
a
not
crazy
ruin my
story.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so important.
So
she
one-
did such a good job with
Something that I've noticed, because you can pay me to stay for weddings and like cut the cake, and I think a wedding that I really saw that was really cool is the bride and their sheet was like, I don't want to know if anything goes wrong, unless it is like
To the bride or the groom, yeah.
earth-shaking magnitude. Like, I don't want to know. Fix it. Find somebody else to fix it. And they didn't even have a planner, which is usually what the planner kind of takes care of and what you're paying for. But like, it was factual. Nobody's allowed to come to her with anything minor. She doesn't want to know.
Yeah.
She didn't want to
And
know.
she put that out into the world beforehand. So
Everybody
people
knew.
That was
so
the
that way no
expectation.
one
Yeah.
came to her and was like, listen. No, she didn't want it. Like,
Right.
don't bring the negative energy into
Something
my...
fell off my bouquet.
Yeah.
I don't care. You need to figure out where this is placed. Don't ask me.
And as much as you
out.
try to control it, it's going to happen too. I can't like overstate that either.
just
it's like
happens.
things are going to happen.
Right.
You just got to be able to like, are you going to be okay when it happens? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Or go into the day setting those standards. Like,
Right.
I don't want to know when bad things happen. Take care of them. I want to remain
Yeah.
over
'Cause
here in
you're-
my happy bubble.
As a couple, you're probably not going to notice those things.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to notice those things because you're supposed to be in love and like focusing on your partner and focusing on
Yeah.
your family and like having fun in
And
this
if
special
you
day.
hire
Yeah.
good professional people,
We fix most of those
we
problems
fix
for
it, and you should never
Right.
even know what happens.
Yep.
Unless you fall off a golf cart. Then you kind of know.
Then it happens. Oh my gosh. I
And
love
your
that you shared
reaction, priceless.
He did call me and tell me how impressed he was with you. Like he was just over the moon. Like she was just fine.
She rolled
laughed.
with it.
Like
Yeah.
it was incredible.
we hit it. We tried to tuck the dress a little bit, and she owned it.
Yeah, it was great. It made it in the wedding video speech, like her bridesmaid speech too. I was
And
like,
the
just
picture is printed and hangs in my office.
I love that. I love that.
So what do we now that we need to wrap? What do you expect after the wedding day? Like a quick when are they
How
going to
long?
receive
Right.
things? Yeah, what do they get?
Yeah. It kind of varies videographer to the videographer just because process and are you outsourcing your editing or is the person doing it themselves? At this point, I'm still doing a lot of my editing myself. So I usually set the expectation of about 8 weeks, so 2 months to get the edit done.
Which isn't bad.
Yeah, because you're going through hours and hours worth of footage
Yeah.
and have to pick out the couple seconds that are magical.
Right. Yeah. And I want to be transparent too. There are times, and I've pushed my times a little bit to like even 10 weeks at times. But I try not to like kick it down the road too long. But the thing to understand, like if you have a vendor that's taking a little bit longer, especially if you're towards the tail end of the year, just be mindful that they have a whole queue of weddings to work through.
Correct.
And would you rather them rush your product and cut corners, or would you rather
And not
them
make it as good just because you want
Right.
it quickly, or let them spend time with it and really, because
Yeah.
That's legit.
after I spend 12 hours with you, I don't want to see your face for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see it for 6 weeks. Sorry. I'm
Nothing
not touching
personal.
it.
It's just
So like then you do go back to it and like
Yeah.
and then you get to kind of relive the day and fall back in love with it.
Yeah.
And it's like you're
It's
feeling it
important.
out. Like, what are the moments that you want? You know, what part of this clip? And there's thousands and thousands of micro decisions that go into like video editing. So it takes time. So patience is always appreciated. You know, if you're coming up against that deadline, I think it's completely appropriate to like check in with your vendor. Like, hey, how are things going? And you know,
mean emails.
just, you know, let's communicate. Let's be adults about it. And I think
Right.
that's perfectly fine. So then, yeah, I usually it's around that 8-week mark that I'm trying to get that turned around, and then I'll send you an email with the link uploaded. And then also, this is just one for video people, especially, is let them know what you think. That's something I've been trying to include more in my follow-up emails, is like, you know, after you watch it, like, let me know. Like, I obviously just spent a lot of time on this, and you spent a lot of money on it. Like, are you happy with it? Like, and if not, you know, if there's small things we can change, then let's do that. If there's things that I can control, then, you know, I'm open to that. I want you to be happy with the final result. But if you love it too, like, I want to hear that too. That's again the kind of stuff that keeps me motivated to keep, you know, doing it for other people.
That quick little text.
Yeah, when I get that handwritten thank you note in the mail from a couple,
Yeah.
I have
means
every
a lot.
single one I've ever.
I hang them
special.
up.
Yeah.
I hang them up because it does. It means a lot. Like it's not always. People think it's about like the tip or something like that, and it's not. It's just that text that was like, "Wow, that cake was gorgeous," or you know,
You can give me $100 or $500, which is totally appreciated. But when I get
say no to that.
when I get that handwritten thank you note,
yeah,
totally
Priceless, yeah.
way more than the tip.
wake up to that review.
Yeah.
That like you didn't send an email out for
Yep.
to ask for, like all of a
Yep.
sudden you wake up and there's just
Yep.
like this review gushing, like
Yeah, wedding vendors are human, and we put way more of ourselves into the product than we should. So when we hear that you enjoy the product, or you enjoy the service, or
Yep.
the deliverable, or whatever it happens to be, like, it means a lot to us.
yeah.
Absolutely. And leave that review. If you had a positive experience, go on Google. Like, that stuff actually happens to matter to your vendors that are trying
Yeah.
to get booked for other weddings.
For sure.
So we could obviously sit here and talk for 4 hours
Yeah.
because you are the podcast king and you taught us everything we know. But is there anything else that you want to add from a video standpoint that we haven't talked about that you think is important? We hit some really good stuff. I'm
Yeah,
so
I
happy
think we did.
talked about the vibe because
That's a big
it's
deal.
a big deal.
It is a big deal. Video is fun. I think a lot of people are scared of the camera, and I get it. You know, it's maybe not your favorite thing to do.
Yeah, like, I don't love this angle of myself. Here I am.
But here you are, and you're getting great content from it. And, you know, you're bringing a lot of value to the world. But I think just try to, just trust them, you know, relax a little bit. As I know it's like, okay, yeah, I'm trying to relax. Like, you don't tell someone that. But, yeah, if you can try to get out of your head a little bit and just try to enjoy the day. You focus in on, like, what you were talking about, like the love of the day. You're starting your relationship, starting this life together. Those are the important things. Let us do our thing. You know, let the photographer and videographer collab. And I think if you like their style and you trust them, then let us work. And I think you'll be happy with your results.
So the moral of the story is hire good wedding vendors and trust them.
Yeah.
Hired the preferred vendor list. Yes. But yeah, because Chad knows who's good. He sees who's here every day. He sees who's here on the weekend.
Yeah.
He hears, I think you out of everybody else hears back from couples probably the most about how generally the whole day was and like who they liked and what went well and what didn't go well.
Like, I totally judge everyone. I mean, it's my job too.
Yeah.
But like, I judge how it goes. When I get your pictures back, I look through your entire gallery and we download your gallery, we keep it. And like, we obviously share it. That's our goal. But like, we see from point A to point B, from your entire planning process when you take a tour, because we're normally the first vendor that you book, to the very last vendor that you potentially communicate with, because we want to see your stuff. Like, we're with you for a year and a half, sometimes longer, through that process. So like, we develop a friendship. I will tell you, brides text me at 10:30 at night. And if I'm still awake, I answer. But like, it's important. And I think the trust, like, we could talk for hours on just trust, but like, trusting these people, like, they're good people. They want your day to be special.
Right.
They want it to be the happiest day of your life. That's what everyone says. That's what we want. And if we can't trust each other and you can't trust your vendors, and if you don't hire professional vendors and you hire, you know, once again, Aunt Susie, who doesn't know, and she's great, but
Poor
she
Aunt
just
Susie.
doesn't know, like, then you're going to get Aunt Susie product, and you can't be mad with that decision because you cut
Right.
budget or whatever. You know, you have to know in the world where things are getting expensive, you can't have everything. So you got to pick what's important.
Yep.
You got to hire good people, and you got to trust them.
Yeah.
And that is the moral of the story.
And I know this is a show put out by 19 Hawthorne, but I would trust the vendors on the 19 Hawthorne list more than your average list of vendors.
And we clean it up. We clean it up. We know what's going on in our vendors' lives. So, like, obviously, if they're going through something, sometimes that name will disappear for a while because they just had a baby or whatever the case, and they don't really want to work that season. Like, we know.
Yeah.
We invite them to a bridal show at the beginning of the year to kind of check everybody's vibe. And then we live out that whole season, you know, with them and multiple seasons. And we know these people. So if they don't want to be on there, most likely they're taken off and then maybe put back on later.
Right.
Yeah.
It's important.
Because we are humans. Things
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah,
Things
life
happen.
happens.
Life happens. But
And all creatives don't want to just bake cakes for 25
the
years.
rest of their lives, yeah. People move
April
on,
might
too.
decide to do something else for a while. Who knows? But right
And
now
learn
she's
some
making
video?
cakes.
probably not. I don't know.
I mean, she added podcast host.
There you
to
At
go.
her
some point,
repertoire,
a sixth
so.
grader that we teach art class with, that's my goal. They take over my job. Like, they take over the business.
That's
Like,
right.
that's,
I love
that's,
that.
That's,
Could be
that's
your
the
daughter.
dream.
You have some creative daughters.
I do. 3. That's crazy. So you're married.
Yes.
Okay. So I need to know, what does your wife do? If you are so creative and then also organized, what does your wife do?
I will credit a lot of my organization to her, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
If you tell me she's a nurse, I'm going to totally laugh. Does she work in healthcare?
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
She's a barista, actually.
Yeah?
Yep.
I love it.
At our local coffee shop right now. So, yeah.
People skills.
Yep. And she loves it. We both love coffee. It's a shared passion for sure. And so, yeah, no, she loves that. And she's very, very organized. She
Yeah.
puts me to shame. But I do think that's like that influence in my life has helped form and shape my creativity into a way that I can have businesses.
Right.
You know, so yeah, we've been married for almost 4 years as well now too.
So rapid fire
Congratulations.
questions, just like we do with everyone.
Okay, yeah, here we go.
Do you want to do your wedding? Let's do your wedding.
Okay,
Okay. Where did you guys get married?
Stony Glen Camp up in Madison, Ohio. That's where my wife grew up. She grew up on a beautiful camp. There's waterfalls and awesome trees, and I'm a big outdoors guy, so I love that stuff.
So cool. So cool. Wedding colors.
We did your classic black and white, which I hear you're a fan of. And I think we had green in there as well, kind of very similar to this background color.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was in a classic black and white tux
Love
all the way.
it.
On a hot August day. It was miserable, right, Brody?
What is one weird, fun thing that you guys did at your wedding that you want to pass on to our audience?
Okay. I will give you one that we did that was a blast, and then one I wish we would have done. Okay. The first one is with my guys. We went down the night before. We went down to the waterfalls, just me and my guys, and we went swimming in the waterfalls. It was like
Cool.
dusk. It was getting dark. It was like pretty sketchy too. It was like going down a pretty steep hill, but
He
like
goes, yes.
just like yelling in the waterfalls. It was freezing cold, but it was amazing. One of my favorite moments in life, honestly, so far. But then one thing I wish I would have made our whole wedding party do was to jump in the lake after. We got like our reception was down by a lake.
Have you ever been in water in a wedding dress?
Yeah,
So
fair
she
point.
sinks to the bottom.
Fair point. But listen, these
Listen.
clothes realistically aren't getting worn by at least the bride and groom after the day.
That's
and
fair.
like you paid for it. Like we did the wedding.
I did a trash the dress once with Ashley Dillenball's dress, and
Yeah.
she jumped in a pond.
That's-
Like literally jumped in a pond in her wedding dress. She was an anchor. Like I thought me and
Well,
Nick
she
were gonna
is
have to
like-
jump in
Oh,
and save her.
geez.
So tiny. I have a question. Did you video the wedding?
No, he
No.
was
He was
Brody.
in it.
She's referring to Brody behind the camera. Was my best man.
You
Oh,
can't video it when you're the best
right.
man.
You
You gotta
can't.
work.
You can't do. Well, I don't know.
GoPro in the pocket.
Right.
I am in someone else's wedding party, a friend of mine, and they're like, I can tell they're kind of holding back from asking me to like, can you just set up a camera in the back? I have done that for some of my
happens a
guy
lot.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, most important part of the day, in your opinion?
Oh man, most
the hard
important
one.
part of the day. Wow.
Besides video.
Or after your wedding, what did you get to see that was like the most important part of your day?
I'm a sucker for a good ceremony. Like I don't know how to not make this cliche, but I think that was really important to us, that we have a pretty ceremony that wasn't too long. It wasn't boring, but it meant a lot to us, a lot to our families, things like that. So that was probably one of my favorites, is just like fully, as much as humanly possible, trying to embrace being in the moment for that day.
Yeah.
No distractions, but everything else aside, everything else in life can wait at that moment. But, taking that time with this other human being that you're about to commit spending the rest of your life with.
It's one day. You live thousands of days.
Right. And it's like as much
It's
stress and
one
everything
day.
went into it. And I know like she put a lot of work into it, and she's,
Give her all
she
the
likes the
credit.
control of all that stuff. I understand.
Good
Like
job.
it's a lot, but she, I was encouraging that for her too. Like put it all aside and let's just be present together today, because I want to remember this, So that was probably my answer for the day. For videoing other couples, I love when they do like a private vows or something.
Yeah.
A little moment to themselves before the whole day gets crazy and everything else is a blur. Everything goes so fast. I know you probably hear that from everybody, but another important reason to video it so you can actually see what happened.
Take those moments.
But those moments are really special with my couples that I'm videoing for.
So think about that when you're going to do your wedding. Like we've heard, now we're in video episode 7. Like it's been really cool, like to steal those tiny little moments in a day when there's hundreds of people around you. Like, we're hearing about, cutting the cake by themselves, or personal vows by themselves, or like eating by themselves. Like we've heard about all these little, like sneak these little moments that can be, that you will remember for forever. The whole day doesn't have to always be about everybody.
Right. Yeah.
Where do we find you? How do we find you, Ethan?
Yeah, DeLeonCreative.co. So I am online. You can see my work. Again, my pricing is already on there, but I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. I like Instagram more, but I am terrible about posting, I'll be honest. So
Because you got to make everybody else's content.
yes, I got to make everybody else's content. And it's just like sometimes you're just gassed by the time it's time to come back. So eventually, and it is a goal of mine to post more. But yeah, Facebook and Instagram. Don't do the TikTok thing. But yeah, I like my website. So go poke around my website.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, Ethan, thank you for joining us. Thank
Yes.
you for making all this magic happen besides just the wedding happen. And we will see you this wedding season.
Awesome. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks for listening to Celebrate at 19 Hawthorne, the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Join us next time.